Welcome to the Metro Monk Podcast, your sanctuary for self-discovery, personal growth, and emotional healing. I'm your host, Parag Lokande, a shadow coach, spiritual mentor, seeker, poet, and a student of life. This podcast is a heartfelt journey into understanding and embracing your true self. It is designed to help you navigate the complexities of the human experience with wisdom and compassion. Join me on a journey to self-discovery and personal growth as we explore the power of self-healing. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 41 of the Metro Monk Podcast. To my new listeners, welcome. This is a podcast where we talk about shadow work, navigating the unconscious, and becoming your higher self in the process. The goal of this podcast is to give you a why for doing this work. And it's also my intention to break down the journey and make it simple enough so you can understand it. I'm personally on a journey of my own as I'm downloading all that I have practiced for close to a decade. So my experience, my lived experience. So this is an evolving journey for me as well, as much as it is for yourself. Also, I recommend listening to this podcast from the oldest episode to the newest, as they're organized like chapters in a book. For listeners who are joining us from the previous episode, today I'm going to try and sort of bring the previous 4 to 5 episodes together and give you an actionable, practical way of looking at life, which will then not only give you new lenses to look at life, but also a way to navigate the challenges in your life. Before we begin, it's important to note that everything we seek in life, money, partner, new house, better car, education, better job, anything, is not about these goals, but about how they make us feel. We have this idea in our head that when we achieve these things, they will make us feel a certain way. So we're actually not after these objects, but the feelings these objects will bring us. But these goals or objects will bring us joy. And that's sort of our assumption. And I believe it's the biggest lie we've been told. When you actually investigate this phenomena, each time we have achieved these goals, the joy, sense of accomplishment from these emotions, they're not only short-lived, it's also non-recurring. We are forced to look for something else after that, something new or something greater, for us to then feel those emotions again. And to be honest, this can go on forever, where each time you achieve something, you're robbed of these short-lived emotions, and you're back to square one. The irony is, all these emotions are already within you. In fact, these are all the qualities of your higher self. So what do I mean by that? Let me explain it this way. Let's say if you have goals of achieving money, luxury, or amassing real estate, expensive cars, jewelry. Really what you're trying to do here is go after a desired feeling these objects will bring you, which in this case would be security, freedom, power, status, comfort, or pleasure. Yeah? What about goals such as a romantic partner, family, friendships, social acceptance? Well, they too bring us feelings of love, connection, belonging, intimacy, and validation. Same way, goals of career growth, entrepreneurship, awards, fame, recognition, all of these are really sought so that we feel fulfilled, proud, a sense of legacy, importance, and also self-worth. All these desired feelings are already how your higher self feels about itself. In fact, effortlessly and without having the need to validate it externally. Your higher self already feels secure, free, powerful, loved, connected, that it belongs to the world, it's happy, fulfilled, and worthy, etc. See, your job is to simply get the stuff that's in the way out. So then, your higher self can finally integrate with your daily experiences of life, which will then bring your daily experiences of life to feel all these emotions without any external validation. Now, this not just extends to goals or objects in life, but even qualities we are trying to cultivate within ourselves. So, for example, let's say we are seeking qualities such as mental toughness, patience, adaptability, awareness, or understanding or discernment, certainty, mastery of some sort, peace of mind, being true to oneself, aligned, honest, vulnerability, freedom, fulfillment, self-acceptance, anything, whatever you are after. Underneath that, we really want these qualities for the same reason, because we want to feel a certain way. We have an idea in our head that when we embody these qualities, our life will be in a certain way. We believe that we will feel worthy, empowered, respected, validated. There'll be a sense of inner security. We'll have a form of sense of control. We'll feel a sense of stability, peace, maybe connection, purpose, love, inner warmth, whatever. Whatever the qualities you're going for, or whatever the feelings you're going for, these are all part of your higher self already. You cannot and you do not have to add these to yourself like ingredients to a recipe. How do I know that? Or how can I be so sure? Because you will never be attracted to anything that is not already a part of you. We have an unconscious felt sense of the qualities we have gone far away from, and this separation is then projected out onto the world as the objects of our persuasion. So let's look at this through a few examples. If your higher self, let's say, is a suppressed healer, someone who has lost touch with their innate ability to heal, they then may become obsessed with rescuing and helping others, seeking validation for their efforts rather than recognizing their natural healing presence. In the same way, a forgotten artist, if your higher self already is an artistic expression, say a person who has disconnected from their creative essence, then might admire and idealize great artists, feeling unworthy of their own expression, while constantly consuming art instead of creating it. Another example could be a neglected leader, someone born with leadership potential, but who has doubted their own power, may seek control in relationships or workplaces, overcompensating for their hidden innate authority. Let's say somebody is a free spirit, but they have suppressed that free spirit. So an overlooked free spirit, a deeply free-spirited individual who has, say, over time been conditioned into conformity, may then find themselves envying travelers, rebels, nonconformists, feeling trapped, yet unable to recognize that same freedom exists within them. A repressed warrior, for example, see a person with inner strength who has been discouraged from standing up for themselves, might admire strength in others They might even follow strong personalities or be drawn to disciplines like martial arts or activism as an unconscious call to their own power. Take the case of a silenced truth teller, someone who has a natural gift for insight and truth, but who has been conditioned to stay quiet, then may learn to admire outspoken people, wishing they had the courage to speak their mind, forgetting that this boldness is already a part of them. You see, we are only attracted to those things that we already are unconsciously, but have forgotten to be so. What we are drawn to, whether it is people, qualities, or pursuits in life, often reflects aspects of ourselves that we have suppressed, forgotten, or not fully embraced. So attraction isn't just about desire. It's actually a mirror of our unconscious self. When we admire something intensely, it's often because the same potential already exists within us. It's already a part of our higher self. But we have distanced ourselves from it. We don't necessarily want to gain it. It's a form of remembering it. And this is why the suppressed artist is drawn to art. The hidden leader idealizes strong figures. The natural healer feels compelled to help others. The sensitive soul admires deep emotional strength. We're never truly separate from these qualities. It's just that conditioning, trauma, or societal expectations may have led us to believe that they don't belong to us. The pursuit then becomes an outer chase for what is actually an inner return. So folks, to get a glimpse of your true self, you only have to look at a list of your desires, goals, and dreams. This is really a case of a dog chasing its tail, believing it's something separate when in reality it is already a part of them. See, we are running after qualities, achievements, and validations outside of us, thinking they will complete us, when all along, they were never missing, only forgotten. So then, what keeps us separated from our true self? And most of you are already answering this question in your heads. What keeps us in that state of amnesia? How come we've forgotten our inner light to such an extent? Well, that is because there is a lot of contrast in the way. We have tons of feelings of the opposite, tons of feelings of the paradox in the way. What do I mean by that? Let's look at some example. Worthiness is usually blocked by a ton of unworthiness. When we have lots of feelings within us of not feeling enough, or feeling inadequate, or feeling undeserving, that's what usually blocks worthiness. Empowerment is blocked by a ton of disempowerment, which is feeling helpless, weak, lacking control over life. Feeling significant is blocked by a ton of disrespect or insignificance, which is feeling unseen, dismissed, or unimportant. The same way, feeling validated is blocked by a ton of invalidation. So feelings such as being unheard, misunderstood, not recognized are blocking feeling validated. Feeling secure. Security is blocked by a ton of inner insecurity. Feeling unsafe, feeling uncertain, feeling anxious about life. The same way, feeling in control is blocked by a ton of lack of control, which is feeling powerless, directionless, chaotic. Feelings of stability is blocked by a ton of instability, feeling ungrounded, emotionally volatile, unpredictable. The same way inner peace is blocked by a ton of inner turmoil, which is nothing but feeling restless, uneasy, conflicted. In the same manner, connection. We all want to feel connected to the world and to the people around us, is blocked by a ton of disconnection. Feeling lonely, separated, isolated. These are feelings in us. Same way, finding purpose is blocked by a ton of lack of purpose. Feelings of, I'm lost, life is meaningless, I feel directionless. These are the feelings blocking you finding your purpose. In the same way, feeling loved is blocked by a ton of lovelessness. When you feel abandoned, when you're feeling unlovable, when you feel unworthy of love, you block feeling loved. All these blocks are literally a prison for the ego. It is constantly trying to escape this prison through external objects or qualities it feels attracted towards. Now, in previous episodes, we've explored how to dissolve this contrast. The barriers between you and your true self, that is. And if you've gone through that episode, then you would know it is by fully welcoming, embracing, and feeling that contrast. Until we are willing to face the contrast, we remain unconsciously bound by it. And no matter what you do, no matter how much you try and change that inverted reality, the external circumstances, you will never ever escape that prison. This is where shadow work becomes so powerful. I often call it the last or the final frontier of healing, because the moment you allow yourself to feel the full depth of the contrast, and this may take some time, this may take some getting used to, but the moment you feel the full depth of the contrast, the qualities of your higher self naturally and effortlessly emerge. This is the most powerful recognition or experience you will ever have. On one hand, if you would have thought that I have to strive and be disciplined for me to embody these qualities, when you feel the contrast, the qualities of your higher self naturally and effortlessly, they just emerge. Just like your arm's gone to sleep and now it's coming back. Every time you embrace a contrast, it's like removing one brick from the prison that has kept you trapped until finally you're free. And this process can feel deeply disorienting. This is why shadow work can be really very potent. You may go through weeks of struggle, feeling stuck in suffering, only to suddenly experience a profound shift where the very pain you've been carrying is replaced by that lightness and freedom of your higher self. It takes time to really fully grasp and trust this new experience. But when it does, the transformation is undeniable. Because you know it's effortless. You know it's happening through you. You know you're not exerting any force for it to happen. And that is why it's so undeniable. I had a client who, just to give you an example of this this phenomena, I had a client who was learning to drive in a foreign country. And she had already learned, in fact, how to drive and was enjoying the experience. She loved driving. Until one day, she had a near accident that shook her to the core. The fear of harming herself or others became so overwhelming that she gave up driving for over 2 years. Even the thought of getting behind the wheel would leave her paralyzed with anxiety. Yet deep down, she longed for the freedom she once felt every time she drove. In our sessions then, she confronted all the emotions she had been avoiding. There was, this fear of accidents, fear of injuring herself or even killing someone, the fear of her own death. Beyond that, she also faced deeper feelings of limitation, helplessness, dependency, incompetence, and even shame for being unable to do something she once enjoyed. So over the course of 2 sessions, and these were, I think, spread across 3 weeks, and each session lasted for about 2.5, 3 hours. She worked through these layers of contrast. Following that, in 2 weeks, she sends me a message saying she's back to driving and loving it. What surprised her most wasn't just that she was driving again, but how natural and effortless it felt. She was still coming to terms with this sudden confidence, realizing that what once felt like an impossible barrier had simply dropped and dissolved. So folks, everything you desire or aspire for is waiting for you on the other side of the contrast, or on the other side of your repressed emotions. The emotions you are usually afraid to embrace and feel. You see, everything you desire, whether it is freedom, love, confidence, or purpose, is already within you. It's not something you have to chase externally. It's simply waiting for you on the other side of that contrast. The very emotions you have been avoiding, suppressing, or fearing are the same ones keeping you from connecting with your higher self. The key here is not to force yourself into becoming something new, but rather to clear away what's in the way of remembering who you already are. And each time you face a contrast, whether it's fear, insecurity, or unworthiness, you are removing another layer of resistance, allowing your true essence to then shine through. This is why shadow work is so transformative. It's not about fixing yourself. It's actually about reclaiming yourself. And as you do this, you'll notice something incredible. The things you have once chased will start flowing to you just effortlessly. And not because you need them to feel whole anymore, but because you're finally aligned with the version of yourself that was whole all along. This is the secret to manifestation. This is the secret to being a magnet of all the things you've desired. When you finally find these feelings within, it's so ironical. You no longer need these external objects anymore because you found that feeling already. And it's long lasting. You suddenly lose your desire for all these objects. And as a contrast, you start attracting these objects in your life. So folks, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Metro Monk podcast. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to reach out or share your reflections. And if you haven't already, I would encourage you to go back and listen to the previous episodes in sequence as they build upon each other like chapters in a book. Until next time, keep embracing the contrast, keep peeling back the layers, and keep stepping into your higher self. I'll see you in the next episode. Much love and take care.